Oh, are we ready? Are we ready? Wait, I'm not ready. Just arriving precisely right after my my morning dump. Not to be confused with Bitcoin's little morning dump as well, but ultimately I do think that the market now is generally looking for a breakdown, especially reading a lot of the comments of social media venues here and yonder. But I have to say, I think Bitcoin's a lot closer to a bounce now than it is not. The the doom and gloomers and the moon and pumpers, as usual, going to be fucking wrong. Well, most likely at least. We'll be going over that, of course, in today's video. Got the camera back and working as well. Let me see if I can actually zero it in. Maybe not. Perhaps I did get the wrong lens. Oh, well, I'll figure that shit out later because I'm not a goddamn cameraman. I'm an internet moron. That's what I really am. Coffee and a crump. Indeed, sir. Coffee and a crump. What's up, Mr. Fingless Cave? Been a long time, man. Hope everything's all good in your hood. Zonkered, good morning to you as well. A Dingo ate my Satoshis. Another great name. Mr. Gallo, he says, it's over, Crown. Pack it up. Just, I always love it when, like, I just love, I have this, like, guilty obsession, this really, really disgusting obsession with going through big crypto creators on, especially Twitter, and just reading the comments below their posts. And it doesn't even matter what they say, like, whether it's right or wrong, but just the comments below the posts are the fucking best, man, because you just see the best and worst of people in the world, and people just be like, $1,000 move down, bro, it's time to admit it, it's over, it's over, pack up the bags, bro, it's over, okay, I don't know what the fuck you're saying, it's over. And then someone else will be like, this is all a trap, this is all that, it's all just a ploy by those mean rich people who are trying to steal your coins low and do whatever the fuck they do with it. Just the ideas that people come up with zero supporting evidence are just absolutely hilarious in my opinion. They're just spewing whatever fucking nonsense is being produced by their brain, which is just has no fucking basis in reality at all. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely hilarious. And it's also a bit sad as well, because it's like, holy shit, these are real people. They're allowed to vote. They have families. They might be a father or a mother. They might have some sort of position of responsibility in this world. And here they are as here they are just revealing themselves to be an unthinking fucking moron. And so am I. So I shouldn't be judgmental. We're all a bit unthinking morons. What's up, Mr. Yarbook? I tried to walk like an Egyptian, and now I need a chiropractor. I think you mean a chiropractitioner. Got that one wrong, man. Anyways, all good. What's up, BTCUSD? Dealing with the hurricanes. Hopefully no hurricanes as of right now, but we do see lightning storms just about each and every night, which is... Elsa, honestly, Elsa's like really sensitive to this stuff, so she doesn't like it. But yeah, I do. Honestly, I kind of enjoy the lightning storms every evening. It's really cool to watch. Honestly, it's really cool to watch. But yeah, I understand people don't necessarily agree with that. It can be scary. Gunzy, Starcadius, some good OGs in this house. John Dude, who else we got? Crypto Saint, one of the Crypto Saint. Is that Saint from the Discord? One of the most OG of OGs. Saint is never wrong. He is only early, sometimes very early, sometimes so early, sometimes so early. The people who are gonna witness it probably aren't even born yet. But you know what? Never wrong indeed. Your boy, it's my boy, Jason Pizzino, flipped to end times on most recent videos. Whole time has been positive till end of yearish. Now it's all over. Fair enough. I mean, look, I am not looking that fucking far in advance here. That's not what I'm good at. That's not what I do. I leave that kind of stuff to Fibbo Swanee, and Jason's pretty damn good at it as well. Look, I think Bitcoin's in a long-term corrective period here, probably a multi-month long corrective period, but I'm not necessarily full on doom and gloom just yet. I just take things one step at a time. Maybe that means, you know, the next step is actually initiating a real macro downtrend. But look, like, let's put this into perspective just for a moment here, guys. Yes, I do think that this can last for a while. But hey, if you're on the daily, like if you're on the fucking daily, this is how crazy people are. If you're on the daily time frame as of right now, it actually is not even a downtrend just yet. You have a high, you have a low, you have a higher high, And as of right now, there's actually a higher low. Now, look, I do think that Bitcoin has some downside here after a bit of a bounce, but for fuck's sake, like, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I'm just saying that, okay? Look, I'll call it as I see it, one step at a time. Of course, I can be absolutely fucking wrong about this shit, but at the end of the day, look, I'm not gonna be sitting here saying, hey, there's a target down to fucking $20,000 or anything like this. I think that is absolutely silly to be speaking about from like an actual trading or even an investment perspective as of right now. I mean, again, all higher term time frames are still remaining in an uptrend. Yes, I do think they probably will flip to a downturn. There's several signals that do suggest such, but hey, take it one step at a time. We're in the fucking dog days of summer right now. Like this is not anything like super crazy in my opinion, just yet. Florida's lightning capital of the world. That's why the hockey team is called the Lightning. We actually went to a game in last February. It was really fun, honestly. Elsa had like I've never seen okay, I have seen Elsa get excited, but she got so fucking excited when someone scored a goal. It was unbelievable, man. Like jumping at the edge of her seat, like as if the world had just seen something spectacular, which I guess it was pretty cool, honestly. Anyways, Terry T says, when 16,000 Bitcoins? You're pretty far away from that, almost $100,000 away from that. Anything's possible, but I'd put it in the low probability section as of right now. Anyways, yeah, man. Long time no see. What's up, A1C Feely? Yeah, man. Back in the game. A lot of people back in the game. Biff the Bear says, I was told that Fartcoin is a future of finance. It might be the future of France, and France is also going down the fucking drain too. And yeah, it's the future of getting poor as fuck. Yeah, pretty ugly here, but even these things will get their bounces. Maybe it stabs like just down below 80 cents and then tries for a bounce. But long term, I think the direction is the same. Long term, this thing is coming back down to 50 cents, probably even lower than that. But these things can take a long time. And there will be bounces in between. And because something like this is so fucking low liquidity, low market cap, the bounces can be very big percentage wise. So it's just not wise to front run these things. In my experience, because you might be right on the long-term direction, but can you survive, a 20% bounce the upside? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying as an example, is that going to wipe you out? Probably yes for most people, because most people are using more than 5x leverage, and a 20% move will wipe you out at a 20, on 5x leverage, which is considered actually small in the crypto space, which is actually fucking insane. It's actually literally insane. Look, anything even really above 3x leverage is really, really high. Like that's considered quite high. So take that as you will, but that is just my opinion. But fair enough. What's up, Nimbo? Yes, the rat face has returned, and the new pad looks, I don't know about nice, but it is it's better than nothing right now. We're actually still in the process of setting up. It is a much slower process than what I first thought it was going to be. Also, just even finding the right position for the damn camera over here is quite difficult in and of itself. It's like hard because I have this massive balcony right next to me, and so all this light's coming in, and it's like it just fucks up the picture really easily. But yeah, man, no, we're not quite settled in yet. It's taking its time, man. But yeah, I'm in no rush, honestly. We're house hunting in the meantime, so I'm not really even too invested in setting it up this place to begin with. Mr. Incroyable says, "Yo, Crown, fan since 2018. Fan, just homies, man. We're just homies here. When I made and lost my first 6 coins, hell yeah, 4K BTC, the good old days of play money. Fuck yeah, man. I love it, man. I love it. Back in 2018, you can even see references to that in the intro of this, of these live streams, because that intro was created around that time. So the price of Bitcoin was like, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. And you see those prices reference. That was only like 8 to 7 years ago now, which is kind of crazy, man. Just really shows you how insane this fucking asset has really become, in a good way, to be honest. Anyways, I caught a live. Good, sir. Hell yeah, man. We're glad to have you, Mr. Crypto Carpenter. You are the Les Grossman of crypto, Mr. Crown. Is that the guy from Tropic Thunder? That's actually one of my most favorite comedy movies of all time, and maybe the best Tom Cruise character of all time as well. Also the best performance by, was it Daniel Day-Lewis? I didn't even know that was a white guy playing a black guy, pretending to be a black guy. Like, you can't even make that movie nowadays because it's way too offensive. Like, you have fucking, gay references, you have black and white references. Yes, and also it is funny, which is also not allowed today as well. No, I think that all that shit's changing, man. The cultural zeitgeist is changing right now. We'll get to a lot of these shitcoin requests a little bit later, I promise you. But yeah, I love the erase taking away all your leverage on the intro. Yeah, man, that's really what it should be, man. Just stick to low leverage or no leverage. You're gonna have a much better time just in life. I can assure you of this. House, kids, and marriage now, Crown. Actually, probably. I guess, man. Oh my God, Satan's Alley. So fucking, like, the gay priest. Oh man, and then the fatties fart. Oh God, like, these are movies that really should have been made, especially the Fatties Fart family. Oh my God, that was good. That was really, really, really good. Like, I think Jack Black is amazing, man. I think he's so good. Just imagine the roar if there's a trailer for Tropic Thunder 2. I fear that if it was made today, it just wouldn't be funny. It probably just wouldn't be funny, man. Unfortunately. Just with all of the fucking... Like, Hollywood hasn't made a good film in a long time now. Like, where are the epic films? In the early 2000s, we had epic film coming after epic film after epic film. We had Lord of the Rings. We had Spider-Man. We had fucking Star Wars reboot. We had... what was the other one? Well, I guess that was most of it. Maybe there's another one as well. I don't know, man. It just felt like there's so many epic movies, like telling real stories of, of our cultures. Nowadays, we just get fucking superhero reruns and Wonder Woman, XYZ, fucking trans woman shit. And it's just like, okay, that's great, but I don't feel very encouraged by this. Anyway, Spaceballs 2 is coming soon. I really hope they do it proper. They do it proper. I fear that it will not be done properly, but man, that is an OG of OG. All of the old Mel Brooks movies are just amazing. Also Mel Gibson as well. I must have said his name, but yeah, Mel Brooks, like fucking Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs. What else does he have? He has so many, man, and I can't remember them right now, but they are great. Dune was pretty good. I actually haven't seen that. I probably should see that. But yeah. The Chinese make all the movies for propaganda purposes. I mean, it does seem like they do have a big fucking hold on Hollywood. But of course, everyone wants to blame it on the Jews, of course. Anyways, that's a topic not for this video, probably not even for anyone, because it's absolutely retarded. Anyways, watch TV shows, Netflix. No, I don't fuck with any of this, man. I only watch YouTube now. I watch Lord of the Rings lore videos on YouTube, and then medieval lore videos on YouTube as well. That's honestly all I watch. And I did find a new game recently. I don't know how much longer I'll be playing it, but it was Warhammer 40k Dawn of War. I mean, I fucking love RTSs, and they just don't make them anymore. And that's probably the best one that I've found recently, because it literally just came out. Anyways, looking at some traditional market action right here, yeah, it's like, do we have a high in place? Yes, there's a high in place. That looks like a nice little swing high. Probably going to be some downside. Market's probably corrective. SPY, not the same though. SPY is not bad here in my opinion. NASDAQ is a little bit more corrective, but then again, I go down to the daily. Yeah, if it wants to correct more, that's fine. If things come back down to like low 62s, that's fine as well. I don't think that the market cycle necessarily is in like great jeopardy as of yet, but of course, like I always say, I can be wrong and massively wrong. Age of Empires 2. Yeah, man, of course I played that one, but that one, it's just too old at this point. I did play Age of Empires 4. I thought that one was, it was pretty decent, but, it just comes in to the same, like, spam fest on all the games. So, anyways, Henry Cavill will make a great Warhammer movie. Hopefully so. I actually don't even really like Warhammer that much, but the games are pretty good. Yeah, the Warhammer RTS, and Warcraft RTSs, those ones are pretty damn good, too. But yeah, you ever watch the Smoking Gun movies? Yeah. Smoking Gun and Naked Gun. I thought that they were the same thing, actually. Or are they the same thing? StarCraft 2? Fuck yeah, man. I need to get into that. Dawn of War 4 coming? I think it just came out. That's the one that I'm playing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, man, all these are great. Crown, I'm not happy you said we were going to 150K by the end of August. What the fuck? I don't think I said that, man. I've been talking about corrections for a long time, sir. But fair enough. People hear what they want to hear. Go to Medieval Times in Lakeland. I bought a sword. Oh, you can buy a sword. Oh my God, I want that so bad. I actually own multiple swords, but I want more. I want a whole armory, man. I want a whole armory. That's what I want. Battlefield 6. Yeah, I hear a lot of good reviews about that as well. But it's not coming out for a while anyways. But yeah, let's get into some Bitcoin action. I suppose it would be a good time for that. Let me get my notes ready over here. It'd be nice if I had just one more screen. But alas, anyways, it's not really that big of a deal. Like, honestly, I can make things work with one screen. Like, it always makes me laugh super hard whenever like, this isn't really a thing anymore, but like maybe 3-4 years ago, especially during the COVID, like, crypto and Forex scammer rush, people would have like fucking, they would be influencers with like 4, 5, 6 screens, sometimes 8 screens. And that was just like proof of like how good you were or how serious you were. I can make it work with one screen. It's not ideal, but two screens is it's a little bit better. Anyways, yeah, let's start off here with Bitcoin. Of course, we'll as always go through the daily price statistics, and daily price statistics are quite interesting right here. Wednesday is again very, very close in terms of a coin flip's probability, whether things close positively or negatively, since this bull market began in 2023 with just under 52% of all Wednesdays closing positively. But what's very interesting about Wednesday is that the average percent gain for those winning Wednesdays has been 2.63%, which is actually the highest of any weekday. On the losing side, loses an average about 1.71. And, do I think that things are more likely to try the upside or the downside of that today? I mean, probably the downside, if anything, but realistically, for reasons that we'll go over a little bit later, I do think Bitcoin's in more of a bouncy place rather than continuation place, at least for the time being. But of course, to the downside, that would give us an area of interest around 111,000 US dollars, and to the upside, that would give us an area of interest around 115,850 or so. So if Bitcoin does hit one of these boundaries, probably a little bit of a scalp play there, whether it's pullback or bounce. But ultimately, Bitcoin very close to that August low already does tell me that, hey, I don't really want to be looking for major continuation of new lows just yet. Yes, I do think that it can happen, absolutely, but I do think that this is going to get drawn out for a more prolonged period of time, meaning that Bitcoin might just eat up another couple weeks here within the overall range, not really making new highs, or obviously not really making significantly new lows. But hey, if Bitcoin were to close below this August low, again around 112 on a daily closing basis, okay, at that point, yeah, we can very easily talk about targets back down to low 100,000s. Very different number right there, obviously. But yeah, as of right now, if Bitcoin were to get a wick down around there, perhaps coming around today's later event, we got FOMC minutes coming out later today, which is not really a big deal. Like usually it's stuff that the market already knows, but sometimes you'll get like a very quick intraday movement, and it doesn't really extrapolate into any like real movement or evolve into any like real movement. But maybe get a wick down around there or wick up around here, and then Bitcoin kind of settles at the end of the day, kind of around where it currently is. That's what I would think. I don't think that we're going to see any major movement. Maybe around Friday we do get a break of the range. That is going to be the Jackson Hole speech by good old Mr. Powell. And other than that, I do want to acknowledge that, hey, a little bit premature here, but our setup for the daily time frame has finally played out. I feel, I don't really feel vindicated on it because, at the end of the day, setups are setups. But for fuck's sake, man, for all the shit that I got for this one, look, these things do play out. Yes, indeed. This one even was a profitable one as well. I wouldn't say it's like an amazing profit or anything like this. But again, we use these setups for general directional analysis on YouTube, not because they're like great setups in and of themselves. But again, here was a setup. The red moving average crossing the downside of the yellow moving average has, throughout this full bull market, always indicated a corrective period at minimum down to the green moving average. This has happened 12 prior times. Now would be the 13th time. And 11 out of 13 times have been in a profitable manner. And these have taken, about 3 weeks on average. Now, this one admittedly has been faster. This one from start to finish has been 14 days. The past ones that we've seen that were similar to this one, like this one over here, were closer to about 3 weeks. As you can see, this one taking 18 days. So a little bit earlier than what we did expect, but ultimately, it got the job done. And generally, I would be looking for a bounce on the first pass of this. Similar to what you saw right here, similar to what you saw right here, similar to what you saw. Let's go to the other one that's similar right here. This one didn't really bounce, kind of just went sideways and then failed. But spent more time going sideways here. What I'm trying to say is I don't expect just like a knife through fucking butter with a real break to the downside at this exact moment. I think Bitcoin's more likely to trade sideways and try for a bounce in the relatively short term for that matter. Now moving on, we can go ahead and look at the HPDR. This condition was also met. We were looking at a likely correction down to the median here based off the rejection of the 38.2 level, which was last week. That one has also been fulfilled as well. Again, first pass on this, very, very likely to provide at least the impetus for a small bounce, if not a reversal. Again, I think calling a reversal from here is like very premature in both directions, to be honest. But a short-term bounce, completely fine. And then, of course, if we go over here, we can see that the daily price action pivot, credit to Bear Nutrition for this one, is basically where price action is right now. So Bitcoin kind of resting on it. You know, can it wick below? Sure. Do we expect closures below? I mean, you're more likely to bounce off these levels again on first pass than not. You could already read this perhaps as a bounce because, you know, from yesterday's low to today's high, that is a what is it, like almost $2,000 differential. I mean, that is a bounce, but I'd still give it some time. Again, this would be sort of the objective bias buster to declare if Bitcoin is more or less breaking down, you know, in terms of confirmation. And again, that would be just, you know, effectively the August lows. If you don't have the price action pivots, it's more or less directly in alignment with those lows again from the 5th of August here on CME. Again, also in alignment with that green 55 EMA. So closure below there. Okay, perhaps we have some new to look at in the short term, looking, you know, closer to, I mean, at least 110 at that point. But maybe lower than that. And then we'll come back to it if and when that does happen. But like I said, you know, with all of these things being hit, I am certainly more biased in the short term for a bounce rather than again a slice through this, you know, this very important level. But that brings up the question: how high can Bitcoin bounce? And more importantly, what would be the real indications, at least in my opinion, what would be the major indications that Bitcoin is reversing and we are seeing a real major higher term time frame breakdown? Well, for that, I would use the exact same methodology that we used back on over in 2021 here when Bitcoin first put in this reversal, where it came off of the high at $66,000, came down first to about $47,000 and then popped back up. I'm going to use the exact same methodology there that we used to call that bull trap. And we'll see what the numbers would essentially imply. And what we were looking at there is any bounce up to the 618 fib is fair game. That doesn't really change anything. But any rejection below the 618 fib on a bounce is going to be considered a lower high. And if it is a lower high, then we do have the conditions ripe for a real reversal. The thing is that we actually don't really have a lower low just yet. So you technically don't have that. But of course, usually reversals start with a lower high first and then follow through with a lower low. Sometimes it happens in the opposite direction, of course, but in general, they mostly occur in that order. And same thing for reversals from downtrends to uptrends. You first get typically a higher low and then it produces a higher high. Not always, but generally speaking. So, you know, let's say things kind of, you know, work their way sideways here, bounce up to 119. Well, that would be a lower high. And if it, you know, if you see it turn down there, back down towards the lows, that would be very concerning to me. That would be a pretty damn good indication that, hey, this market does really want to break down and stay down for a while, like multiple months. But if Bitcoin, you know, turns down, puts in a higher low, something like this, and then works its way up, okay, pretty damn good. But only time will tell. Of course, crystal balls can be used, but they are not very accurate in this situation, at least in my opinion or in my experience. And yeah, you know, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Of course, higher term timeframe, stochastic momentum, I would say, is still problematic for the more long term, which is why I do think there is a real threat of a breakdown here. It's just maybe Bitcoin attempts a bounce first. But when we look at the higher term timeframes, yeah, I mean, pretty much all of them are pointing in the same direction, exactly as we had before. Here's the 2-day time frame, which is still coming down after losing the bullish control zone for the first time in a while. That one remains with downside pressure as long as CME is closing below 125.50. The 3-day time frame is also going to be headed to the downside, and if it loads in a proper time, we will see that yes, the current pivot is 120 as well, 120,000. That is, this one will also be likely losing the bullish control zone. The 5-day time frame, which updated recently, which is going to update tomorrow, is going to be headed to the downside, continuing to the downside, losing the critical zone for the first time since May, by the way, assuming Bitcoin finishes tomorrow night, Thursday, closure below 123,500, and the 8-day time frame is going to be also headed to the downside for the first time in a very long time, since December of last year, by the way, which called the last major high. And that one heads down as long as Bitcoin's below 119,400. The 10-day time frame also going to be having a fresh cross to the downside, pending tomorrow night's closure below 122. And the bi-weekly time frame, which just closed last weekend, is also freshly turning down below 113,800, which Bitcoin's kind of flirting around right now. And even the monthly time frame, hopefully this one's not turning down, because that starts to look really bad. Yeah, this one's going to continue up here, but this... yeah, this could get pretty bad. But the monthly time frame will actually continue to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 95,800. But I have to look at this within the context of the greater picture and think, okay, if this continues up, getting back into these critical levels, while the other time frames are more or less corrective and going sideways at best and downside at worst, this kind of I don't know. I mean, if that starts to turn down and get all of these turning down, then that is like a multi-month long correction to me. Again, the last time that we saw this even, really come to the downside, or even cross the downside, was March of 2024. And this whole corrective period here led you throughout the majority of 2024. That was a 7-month long sideways consolidation. And it just tested the edge of the critical zone. This would be different if it comes back down and really stays below the critical zone. That would be a real indication of a change of behavior. But yeah, we're well and far away from that right now. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. So I can 100% understand why other people are getting like super bearish already. I just think, I want to see us a few more steps first and just remain calm. Okay, remain calm. Like, it's gonna be fine. Nothing to see here. It's all good. It's all fine. Anyways, yeah, just updating my shit over here. And yeah, now that I recognize it on the monthly time frame, I mean, look, you do have the red 5 EMA, about 108, and Bitcoin does like to reconnect with that on a month-to-month basis. And anytime it doesn't, I mean, you're generally going sideways until you do. So if it's not this month, it's probably next month. So fair enough. Anyways, that's pretty much it for me today. I'll get into some of the comments here as well. I need to sip some of this water because I'm really thirsty. What did the moon say? Only important indicator. Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending upon your disposition, the moons are about to fire off yet another signal. Unfortunately for many people, this is not going to be the traditionally bullish moon, which did produce new all-time highs for Bitcoin. But now it's going to likely be a loss by the time this one closes. But by Saturday/Sunday, we will once again have the bear moon, the very bad bear moon, the big bad bear moon. But yeah, I guess we shall see. We shall see indeed. A lot of time left to go. All right, cool. I'm going to get rid of some of these screens here because I don't want to get too crazy. I should also let you know, I forgot to mention this during that part, but look, I should also let you know, we did now offer up a new version of the Quantum Wave Suite. It is for just the lifetime owners, meaning that, you pay once, you own it for life. And now for people who get into this, you will get an extra script. We showed this yesterday. In fact, I'll show it once again today. I'm actually curious to see how it's doing right now. Let's see. I'm actually implementing it with the Quant Prime skeleton key as well, just for a little bit better enhancements. You can use it in the stock standard way as well. It's completely fine. Just, you can get better if you do customize it a little bit more. But let's see. Has it closed its trades? What has it done here? Or what is it doing is a real question. It's loading is what it's doing. Yeah, this one, I do not like what it's doing right there. But it's had a pretty damn good run for the last, I don't know, since July. So the last couple months almost. So yeah, probably time for a nice loss there. But yeah, ultimately, that one is there for people now. And this applies to anyone who ever got the lifetime ever. And yeah, I think we'll end that right there. Anyways, moving on. Let's see. Okay, I need to, let me actually pull up Elsa's chats. She's been collecting the super chats. Let's see what the super I already know Stephen Schickman is first, so I'm just gonna go to it with Dogecoin because that is a tradition here. And indeed, I was correct. He is first. All right. Excuse me. Last time we looked at Dogecoin, we were saying, hey, this one's likely to correct lower. I put this red circle over here as an area of interest. I would just move the timing of it. Not that it's supposed to be exact right there, but yeah, you're kind of in it. I think it could reach a little bit lower, maybe closer to like 20 cent even first, and then try for a bit of a bounce. But again, to be fair to Dogecoin, like you don't really even have a legitimate downtrend on higher term timeframes until you're back down below those August lows. So those are very, 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 very important in my opinion. And with Bitcoin more or less in a bouncy zone or closer to a bouncy zone than it's not, I don't think that this thing's going to break down, especially when it's on, it's actually higher relative to its last low than Bitcoin is. Bitcoin basically at its prior low. So if it does come down to 20 cents, I think that that's still a bounce area, if not where it's at right now. Long term, I'm not going to hate this as long as you're above those August lows, but I absolutely will hate it when you do go below the August lows. At that point, I would say, no, this thing is still is long-term corrective. You're going to see a move down to like 15 cents or so, maybe even low over time. But, when I look at the higher term timeframes, I refrain from saying that that's like my main disposition here. I think that this thing is, going to be sideways for a while with Bitcoin. But if you see something like this, more importantly, puts in a low there and then works its way back up, and more specifically closes above this most recent price action pivot at 24.25 cents, I would say that that's bullish confirmation that this thing actually wants to head back above 30 cents. But until then, yeah, it is a bit in limbo. But we shall see. We shall see. Pin my message. Pin my message. Where is your message? I see your message, actually. Very nice. All right. See what else we got. Hurig says AR. It sounded like I was trying to say his name in a cool way, but I was just trying to sound it out, honestly. Arafora, daily, weekly, monthly. Please, looking to buy long term. Okay, so to me, that means monthly. I mean, this looks like the chart of a shitcoin, man. So it's your money. But look, you're either, okay, if I was looking at this and I wanted a long-term position, which I don't, okay, and I don't, maybe you have insider information or something on this, but there's two places that would make sense. Either one, this thing is literally in the process of putting in a higher low where it's at right now, in this area right here, meaning that right now is actually not the worst time. And like the obvious invalidation region would be the low of June. Granted, the way that things look, I don't think that that's going to hold through, and this is still a downtrend. And honestly, I think that this thing is just going to be going down. But especially with a rejection like this, but I could see that as, you know, as a setup nonetheless. I just don't think it's going to work out. The other area to be looking for a low would be a little bit closer to this price action pivot extension here at about 96, 97 cent. Again, I personally think that's not going to work out. Honestly, if I really wanted to get a position in this and I had a, you know, long-term horizon, you know, a year out, I think in the next year you hit probably somewhere closer to here at half, what is this, half a cent? Or sorry, 5 cents, somewhere around there. But honestly, man, I mean, this is the chart of a garbage shitcoin. To me, it really would only make sense if like I had insider information, which is illegal for one, and two, you probably don't. So yeah, fair enough. I mean, yeah, these things can pump, but this is acting like an asset that wants to go down. I'll put it that way. What I'd be honestly a lot more interested in buying, to be honest, Hurig, is I would be a lot more interested in buying if this thing could pop back above 25 cents, because then it proves itself as an uptrend rather than just, you know, buying a falling knife, hoping it reverses at some point. That's just my personal sort of take. So yeah. Jerion says, KASUSD, you said KAS bear when closed below 86.5 cent. Well, I'm guessing it's below there now, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, look, this is, again, garbage chart, absolute garbage chart. Again, not calling you a garbage person, great person. I love Jerion. Don't love this chart. Very bad chart. Very nasty chart. Very, very ugly chart, in fact. A chart that only a mother could love in many ways. But yeah, this one, you know, has been straight down since what? December of 2024, while the rest of the market had new all-time highs for all of the things that actually matter. And what do you know? You get rejected on yet another lower high right here alongside the green 55 EMA, which is exactly where you expect your rejections to occur if this thing is going to continue with the overall trend. And the overall trend is to the downside on the weekly time frame. So this is ugly, man. Very ugly in my opinion. If it was going to prove itself, it would have done it earlier this week and it would have popped back up above about 10 cents. You know, that there is still that condition for it to reverse itself, of course, but I just think the probability of that happening is becoming lower and lower. But hey, if it did happen, if you did see this thing pop back up above 10 cents and close above there on a higher term time frame, okay, fair enough. You know, you still got a reversal in play. But until that, man, I think that you're a lot more likely to come back down to these lows at 6 cents or around there than you are to reverse. Again, I can be wrong on this, of course, but you know, with the way that it's acting here, I mean, this is acting like it's a real major downtrend setting in motion and continuing. Again, that's just my take, man. Again, back above 10 cents. I changed my opinion. Until then, no. Edzy says, pink slips on Mega Drive makes Age of Empire look new. Wait, what the hell is that? I'm reading like a different language here. I said pink lips, not pink bits, you dirty filth master. I am a dirty filth master, but I actually am going to have to ask ChatGPT what the fuck you mean, because it sounds like it could be relevant to me, but I'm also not very sure. Good old water, man. Nicholas Carolyn says, hey, Crown, long time follower of the channel since 2019. Fucking hell yeah, man. First time on a live. Can we look at any BBWP setups that are potentially brewing on the high term timeframes? So I'm guessing you mean for Bitcoin here. Yeah, I mean, there are... Well, I'm glad you asked, Nicholas. About to destroy all the hopes and dreams of crypto aficionados near and far. Look, there are setups brewing here. But we can see that right now, 5-day BBWP is going back into a contraction phase. So my personal opinion is that this market is going to drag it out sideways while this continues to reset. We probably see a little bit of downside during that time because, you know, momentum also does our position to the downside. But with BBWP contracting rather than expanding, it makes me think that, hey, we're not going to see like a real mega breakdown like a lot of people are looking for. We're going to see a nice downside move that could be 10, 15%, but we're not going to see the explosive like 30 to 40% downside move that you'd expect. Now, if, Nicholas, we saw something like this where it comes down, resets, and then starts to turn back up, and this is still positioned to the downside, then there's a real breakdown in play. But until then, this to me says we're more likely to see the range continue with maybe some downside, you know, a little bit of new downside, but not anything like super, super crazy. The 2-day time frame, this one does have a setup here, it looks like, and it is positioned to the downside. But here's the thing, the 2-day time frame setup is like categorically less than a 5-day, obviously. So this is favoring the downside, obviously. And these setups off the top of my head are somewhere around like 20% on average. So yeah, I mean, if Bitcoin plays 20% from there, I mean, that puts you in like the mid 90s. I think that's not out of the question, so to speak. But yeah, everything does favor the downside right now. No doubt about that. So fair enough. I'm glad you asked that, man. Definitely, definitely need to bring those back because that actually is going to be pretty useful here, I think. So yeah, this one should play out. If we take it from the top, I'm actually curious how much it looks like right there. What does 20% puts you down at? Yeah, 100,000. What are you laughing at? No laughing. Don't do it. No laughing. What's up, Mr. Van Duysen? Good to see you as well, brother. Good to see you as well. Look, good morning. Hate from New Jersey. I'm also wearing a New Jersey. No, people always ask me like, oh, dude, are you like a basketball fan? Like, are you a Brooklyn Nets fan? I'm like, no, I actually don't give a fuck about any of these teams. They're just very comfortable and I live in a very hot place. What about when we both wear them? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I literally could not care less about what name is on the jersey or anything like that, man. It's literally comfortable because it's hot as fuck here. It's really, really hot in case you didn't know. And I prefer comfort. Anyways, yeah. Get with the Hype says, GM Crown, good morning to you as well, sir. CRLC. CRLC. Do you mean circle? I think you meant circle. I'm guessing you probably meant circle, and I'm sure I have it on my list here somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, CRCL. I'm guessing that's what you meant because the two letters are reversed. Look, I think that this we looked at this one a while ago. I said that it topped over here. I remain with that top call. I think that this thing's coming down significantly below $100. Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I mean, look, you have a high, you have a lower high. It's a parabolic blow off top. Max mania in the stock market, not in like the actual crypto market, but in the stock market for these sort of crypto related stock names. You know, with all these things coming out like bullish, like fucking Tom Lee's new stock. By the way, Tom Lee, who's like the biggest bull on Ethereum. My dad, who's actually a legendary trader himself, he fucking hates with a passion Tom Lee. He hates him so, like, I get all of these texts on nearly a daily basis just about how anytime Tom Lee gets on CNBC about how much my dad just fucking despises this guy and his stupid stock is going to go to zero. Maybe he's right. I mean, my dad is really fucking good, but it is funny. Anyways, so you know you have all these big names coming out. You have even more IPOing. I think Gemini's going to IPO. Kraken. I'm in a secondary market as well because I want to buy before they hit IPO, and I think Kraken is about to do it. At least I got a message about that. I don't think I'll go into them, but perhaps, I mean, getting into exchange is not the worst idea in the world. But yeah, this thing right here, I think it's top for a very long time, and I think it's coming down significantly. I think it's coming down well below $100. I'll put it that way. It's going to take time, obviously, but it's a parabolic blow off top, and it's time for, I mean, does that look fucking healthy to you? Well, you're in the crypto space, so yeah, people just love shitty charts that go straight down. But yeah, this is very, very bad. McDonald's House says, Deuteronomy, could you scope gold on the daily 5-day? I'm guessing you probably want to look at like the actual spot gold. So for sure, man. It's a hard chart for me, honestly. It's a hard chart, but an easy chart. The trend is obviously your friend here. So it is to the upside. The monthly, my rule is I remain long-term bullish on anything that's above all major moving averages, especially the red moving average right here. And this one is with 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 wicks to the upside without continuation, is that looking more and more like it wants to maybe lose that and initiate a real correction? For sure. But until it actually does it, I would not front run these things. And again, that would require a monthly closure below 3250. So if we see something like that, then yeah, I think that you will get a much greater correction to the downside. You know, we're talking like well below 3,000 at that point. But when I go to the 5-day time frame, when I go to the daily time frame, they look corrective to me, but I would have no real analysis here. My real analysis is something that's probably not helpful because you likely already know this. Look, if it were to pop back above this early August high here at 3409, okay, bullish. You know, at least you'd have a higher high at that point. But it's been lower highs but higher lows for a long time now. So to me, that's an obvious consolidation. Consolidation generally favors the current trend, but all trends come to an end at a certain point in time. So where do you actually make a new low? Well, it'd be below this low right here from late July. So if it does come down below there, I suppose I could say, yeah, this thing is actually going to initiate the real pullback, and we should see this thing below 3,000, you know, in the coming months. But until then, man, I don't feel like I have a great read here. If I had to call a direction, it's going to be the downside, but I don't feel super, beholden to that view. Again, just to be very, 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 very transparent. Pizza says, hey, Mr. Crown. Hello, Mr. Pizza. Could you take a look at XRP? And by the way, what is that currency? It's UYU. Is that Uruguay? I actually hear really good things about Uruguay. People say it's really, really beautiful there. Anyways, XRP. Let's see, XRP to, so yeah, last we looked at this, I said very likely a pullback down to 290. We have not just hit that pullback, it has exceeded that pullback, and it's looking nastier and nastier. And now I'm starting to realize maybe to suggest that some of these alts are still on higher lows is a little bit too optimistic. This, I might be very, people call me too bearish and then too bullish, but fair enough. Maybe I'm being a little bit too optimistic here. Anyways, XRP, I do think that you're going to retest those August lows. You should see a short-term bounce off of those lows on the first pass, but I would actually treat this thing as corrective now, like a real correction, as long as you're below this price action pivot. Again, I'm just going to fucking hammer in these price action pivots. By the way, anyone can try out the price action pivots for free. You get 7 days free in the Teachable School link over here. Super fucking simple one right there. As long as you're below 338, it is lower highs, and by getting toward that last prior low, I mean, well, if you have lower high but same lows, you're a lot more closer to creating an actual downtrend than you are an uptrend. So, yeah. I think it's gonna test this slow, probably bounce, but if that bounces yet another lower high below 338, that is a ripe condition for a real reversal. Weekly looks like it probably wants to reach lower towards 260-ish, give or take. Longer term, we have seen XRP find a lot of these major lows at around the green 55 EMA on the weekly, and that's all the way down at like very low $2, like 215-ish region. So yeah, I don't know what time frames you're on, but I think no matter what time frame I look at, it looks corrective again with that 348 number as very important. Good old water. Mr. Gallo, good morning to you, ma'am. CBLO, thoughts on a stock like that? Let's see. Oh, it's a block. It's thoughts on a stock like that. It's fucking OTC, man. Might as well be a crypto shitcoin at that point. What are my thoughts on this? Look, when you play, God, it really is like, there really is almost zero difference between OTC shitcoin stocks and real shitcoins in crypto. Look, ma'am, if you have insider information, you really believe in the project, whatever the fuck, that's a different thing. If I'm looking at the charts, I fucking hate it. I absolutely fucking hate it. Where could I call a reversal on this thing? If you trade back above whatever this high is right here at 18 cents, I guess, but I do not trust these things. Like, look at the way this thing's trade. This is a weekly time frame, man. There's no volume here. Like literally no one's trading this. So this thing can either explode on a moment's notice or absolutely fucking get demolished on a moment's notice. I don't have a real analysis on this, and these things are just notoriously fucking traps. But yeah, man, I mean, maybe you have inside information that this thing is like legit and it's about to do X, Y, and Z, and that's great. I think that there are some signals here, if I was looking at this as like a real chart, that it might be reversing. But again, it all hinges upon this high here. You do kind of have a higher low right here. You're already at that prior high on a closing basis, so it is looking okay. But I just don't trust these fucking OTC things, man. That's what I'll say about that. So yeah, I don't want to get too much deep into this because probably just overanalyzing at that point. Gibson's JK says, could you take a look at shitcoin XCN? Holy shit, this sounds really familiar, but this sounds like it's from many years ago. This one's back from 2020. This is how most shitcoins look. Alt season, yes indeed. Crown, fuck you, man. You're too bearish. It's alt season. Don't you know? The things are about to explode. Yeah, explode. Explode with selling action. I mean, hopefully it gets a little bit of a bounce here, but very, very bad, man. Like long term, I'm never going to like a chart like this, man. Like it's not going to happen. Can I be wrong about it? Sure. But this thing literally looks like it's getting ready to push off towards 6 or 7/10 of a cent. I would only switch around my opinion on it if it could pop back above this most recent price. Keep on doing it with the price action pivots. I'm so lazy now. 2 cents is the number to beat. Until then, bearish. Ladare TD says ABAT stock, please, asking for a friend wanting to enter. Ah, yes, my friend who wants to enter. My friend who needs an entry point and would like to not get absolutely shitted on. Well, I don't think it really matters where you enter. You're entering into an absolute garbage company. Amazing. Just amazing. Again, if you have insider information on this, if you just like the stock, if you like the fundamentals, that's great, man. That's really great. It's great for your friend. But tell your friend that he should make a better friend. And the friend he should make is with the trend. And the trend has been to the downside since 2021. It has known many bull markets, but it has never made new highs during such. Very bad. Very not friendly. Very, very bad. And in this case, I mean, look, man, whether you want to buy it here at 50 cents, at fucking 25 cents, like, just throw your money down the fucking toilet. Tell your friend that. It's a better investment. Go to Vegas. Tell your friend to go to Vegas and like buy some hookers and blow all your fucking money on all of the dumb gambling that it can do. Even better, tell your friend to do gambling online. Oh my God, this is the dumbest thing. Okay, I am addicted to watching these videos on YouTube about just downward spirals. I don't know. It's sick. It's very, very guilty pleasure. I don't know why I like it. I just enjoy it. Maybe as like a cautionary tale or something. But recently I was watching these like videos of influencers, I guess, who were getting into like online gambling. And look, like, they would play these games where you press a button and then a bunch of balls will like fall down these sort of sorting mechanisms. And then if they fall into like the right sorting mechanism by the end of the fall, then you get, you know, times X whatever money you had. Or if it goes to like, you know, the middle one, which is the most likely, it'll be like times 0, you know, something like this, which if you understand probabilities, you understand that the probabilities of these games, especially in internet casinos, are definitely going to be against you because that's how they fucking make money. Duh. And obviously, if the probabilities are against you, you are guaranteed, you are mathematically guaranteed a loss over time the more that you play. And these people just sit there fucking pressing the button, being like, oh my God, I need to fucking double up, you know, not realizing that like after they take a couple wins, like they're gonna fucking lose. The more you play after you win, the more you're going to lose. You cannot win more. It is mathematically impossible. You cannot get lucky in these games. They are internet casinos. Like, there's no fucking oversight for these things. They can just make the probabilities fucking 0 for all anyone cares. But people will still play them because people have like real issues. I mean, we all have fucking real issues. I mean, look at us. We're fucking trading crypto nonsense. Now, I don't know how the hell I got onto this topic from looking at the American Battery Technology Company, but it's bad too. Look, I'll tell you where I'd call a reversal. Not that I think it's going to happen. It would be back above your July high. Until then, this thing is in a very, very nasty downtrend, and there's no indications of it reversing. I like give me buy zones for my friend. I don't fucking know what your friend's trying to do, nor am I a financial advisor, nor would I buy this thing to begin with. I think there are significantly better investments that do not incur the significant risk that a down only chart for 5 years imposes. Like, you could just go invest in the S&P, man. Like, really, I mean, you don't need to buy this shit. You don't need to. That's what I'd tell your friend. I'd say, look, if you really like the company, if you love the fundamentals, fucking go for it. Like, that's a different game. That's a different game. Maybe you're just looking to hold it for 20 years because you, I don't know, whatever. In my opinion, I wouldn't touch this thing with a 10-foot fucking pole. Liz in Seattle says, have you moved to Florida for a while? No, we're just checking things out right now, to be honest. How are you liking it? There's good and there's bad, but mostly good, honestly. It's a very, very beautiful place. We love it. Very hot, very humid, but honestly, I don't mind it. You know, people were fucking warning us about the humidity for months and months on end before we came here. And it's like, you come here and it's fine. Like, really, you go outside, you sweat a little bit. It's the summer. You fucking sweat. No problem. That's why I wear these. Very comfortable. Don't have to worry about sweating. Can you look at Palantir 12 and 24 hours? Sure. I think this one's, last we looked at this, I think it was finally correcting, and I'm actually very happy about that because I would like to get a position or add to my position. Yeah, look at the monthly here. I know you didn't ask about the monthly, but clear top, in my opinion. This one's ready to correct significantly lower, I think. I think that this one's actually going to work its way down towards $100 in the next few months, but you know, in the short term, if we're looking at the daily, there's going to be bounces in between, obviously. Maybe kind of where you're at right now. In fact, you're at the green 55. You're also at that last prior low and a price action pivot. A lot of things aligning here for maybe a short-term bounce attempt. But, you know, any bounce that fails to basically make new highs is just going to be a lower high. So it kind of have to be biased towards general downside. You know, weekly, I think that this one's going to come down to about 136, 137 for the next stop. Yeah, specifically about the 12 hour. The 12 hour and the daily, by the way, are not going to be different in traditional markets. It's going to be the exact same chart, as you can see, just because, well, traditional markets, like, you don't have, it's only 6.5 hours in a day anyways of trading. But yeah, overall, there's going to be bounce along the way, but I think that this one's top for a while, which in my opinion, I'm actually very happy about because I've always wanted more lower, but was never able to get. All right. Carl Riley TV says, GM Crown, what's up, man? Link on the daily. Nice. Okay, so remember last week, this one, it was looking pretty good, but it was at a prior high, so probably a short-term pullback. And what do you fucking know? What do you fucking know? Beautifully, beautifully done. Now, again, okay, I want to be very, very clear. Long term, I'm actually not really bearish on this. Like the monthly with momentum freshly turning to the upside, assuming it can just hold around here by end of month, that actually looks pretty good for the long term. But short term is a corrective. Yeah, you're very likely to pull back after hitting a major high like that. In this case, I mean, it already kind of has pulled back a decent amount. Let me get rid of some of these things. They're just not relevant right now. You know, if it wants to pull back more, I'd probably be looking somewhere around like 21, 22 bucks. But honestly, compared to most everything else we've seen today, much better than most everything else. In fact, I think it's the best chart we've seen today thus far, especially in the crypto space. You know, compare this chart with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is already back down around those August lows, whereas Link is, I mean, it's almost like, what, 75% higher? Sorry, 60% higher. So yeah, not bad. But you know, do I think that this thing's not going to correct if Bitcoin corrects? Of course, I'm going to be biased towards that. And so if it comes back down to like 20, 21, 22 bucks, that's fine. Long term, it's about the monthly, in my opinion. And closing anywhere, you know, above 22, let's say, is going to be considered, in my opinion, good for the long term. So yeah, what does quarterly say? Yeah, quarterly not bad as well. So one of the better ones today for sure. Arms Private says LINKUSD. It's like you read his mind. short term. I do think that it corrects here. You know, I don't know, 4 hour, like 23 and a quarter, something like that, man. I do think more longer term is going to try for those $30 plus numbers. Again, assuming that the monthly remains, you know, above about 22 by the end of this month. But yeah, in the short term corrective, again, it's very, 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 very common for any asset that reaches like a prior swing high like this to just, you know, pull back from that. Same thing with the prior swing low. Arms Private is back. He's looking at SEIUSD. Okay, short and long. Guessing this thing is looking absolutely amazing, and by amazing I mean absolutely terrible. And yes, of course. Now, I don't know why I have this red circle here. Probably that was on a confirmed reversal above this red circle right here. So I can't imagine I'd be looking at this thing as likely to reverse, because it's not. Yeah, actually, okay, I see what I was doing. This red circle just needs to be put right here. And that, I think, was a bounce target that we had from a long time ago. It's hit that bounce target and reversed from there. And that is kind of, we expect a reversal. This thing's going to be long-term bearish. Yeah, this one, like many other things, it's in a precarious place because I am personally going to be biased towards long-term bearishness for assets like this. Now we have weekly momentum freshly turned into the downside. We have a lower high on the weekly in a downtrend. I would consider this one bearish as fuck as long as you're below 36.25, which is your August high. Now there is some hoping that it will bounce heavily off of 28 cents and then reverse from there. It's possible, yes. And then the condition to confirm reversal will be back above this high, but I think that's very unlikely personally. But it, you know, that is possible. Now that would change my opinion is what I'm trying to say. Until then, I'd be generally biased towards this thing just continuing with the long-term trend. I think it's going to come back down to, you know, 20 cents, probably lower than that. So it's, you know, a big move from where it's at right now. Again, I mean, high, low, lower, high, lower, low. Is this the next lower high? Probably. If it does exceed this high over here, I don't know if this red circle is the next major target, but I do think it could go much higher, like 50 cents, 55 cents. But yeah, I'd be biased towards downside, man. In other words, short, like very short term, if you're asking, I don't know, probably a bounce attempt soon, whether it's here or 28 cents. I don't fucking know. But yeah, the bounce would have a lot of work to do in order to really prove itself. Very good water, actually. BK, what's up, Mr. BK? Clippy, okay, this is a new one. Clippy. The Clippy cult. Okay. Well, I'm sure it's gonna be great. Yeah, amazing. Another one. It's like this is basically what I think the last chart we looked at is going to do, but this is a 4-hour time frame, and the other one we're looking at is a weekly. So again, this is super new. Now TA is already, you know, incomplete enough. Like, so looking at something that's this new, I just want to say at the outset, don't trust it that much, sir. But if I had to call it, it's going to be down just based off a trend. And based off of what the rest of the market is doing. But yeah, man, I don't really have strong opinions on this. My strong opinion would be, hey, if you close below this August the 14th low at like 1.35 cent, whatever the fuck number this is, then it's going to Hades. Yeah. Oh, you're on an hourly. Down, man. There is a trend, and the trend is down. Probably retest this low, maybe a short-term bounce off of that low. And then the inevitable. Now you're looking at AVAX. Yeah, we can look at AVAX. This one, I believe last we looked at it, we were looking at a rejection at 25 bucks, and we have gotten a rejection perfectly on the red circle just later on, and that's fine. Anyways, very similar chart to most of the other ones we've seen today. You know, if this thing can pop back above 25.70, this high from Saturday, this past Saturday, okay, that would be my bullish reversal confirmation. Until then, what we were saying before is likely a pullback down to 22-ish. It's already there right now. This really looks to me like it wants to continue with a long-term downtrend. Again, when I see rejections at the 55 EMA, that is usually going to lead to trend continuation. Obviously not always, you know, all trends do end, but more often than not, it will be continuation. And we're also going to see weekly momentum turn down freshly, assuming this thing finishes the week out below 24.31. Which right now it's decently below. So yeah, man, if I had to call it, I think it's going to be down. I think you're going to get a bounce at low $20. And then I think you're going to come all the way down to 16 bucks and probably even break those lows, to be honest. Yeah. But like I said, I would be very happy to change my opinion and be bullish if it can pop back above this high. That's my sort of invalidation for just a long-term continuation to lows. Drop something. All right. What else we got here? Robbie. It's spelled quite differently, but I think it's Robbie. Anyways, Masa. Okay. MASAUSD. Another new one for me, so probably going to be great. New AI coin in TAO ecosystem. Oh, great. So a shitcoin within a shitcoin. It's like shitcoin inception and exactly the chart that you'd fucking expect. Amazing. Oh, incredible. Oh, man, my Masa coins are going to change the technology of the TAO ecosystem. by making more people more poor. It's an amazing proposition. Yeah. I could show this chart to my fucking 3-year-old niece and she'd say, bad. It's bad. Down. That's what I do. I show her charts and I say up or down. She's right very often. Because trends are pretty easy to spot. And, well, you don't need me to tell you this is a downtrend, sir. Yeah, very, very bad, man. Extremely bearish as long as you're below 2.5 cents. Extremely bearish. And even if it reclaimed 2.5 cents, I mean, I don't even trust something like this to begin with. This thing wants down. We have an imbalance of buyers and sellers in favor of the sellers. There's your news of the day, sir. I hope that helps. And I also hope I'm wrong, because that's really fucking ugly. Again, not you. You as a person, great person, amazing person. Hard name to say, but great person. This as a chart, very bad chart. Very, very nasty chart. Even if then US versus Bitcoin, I mean, sir, like this is going to get really bad. I mean, if it's bad versus the dollar, it's going to be 100 billion times worse versus Bitcoin. There you go. There's your fucking real chart. No, I did not. Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry, I missed SUI. My apologies, sir. SUI, as you might guess, looking similar to the rest. So I want to go over my invalidation first to say, hey, I'd get bullish on this thing because it's already back down at the level that we were looking for at 350 to 360. I mean, if this thing, it does not look like it wants to hold there. I'll just put that out bluntly. But hey, I will be wrong in this thing, and I'd be bullish on this thing once again if it could pop back above the price action pivot here at 390 and close above there. Until then, yeah, this looks like a rejection to me. And you're about to see weekly momentum freshly turn down if this thing finishes the week out below 396. I think that's likely right now, but of course, long week left to go. Crazier things have happened, of course. 5-day time frame is already turning to the downside. I think that you're more likely to come down to like 315 than you are to reverse from here. In fact, I think that you're likely to follow through even further to the downside than that, more long term, just to be blunt. But I'd still take it one step at a time. Like the monthly isn't terrible just yet. If the monthly could pop back up above, let's say 365, 370 before end of month, that would make me reconsider. But until then, I'd say this thing is looking not great. I think it's more likely to come down to like 315-ish region, and then come back to it after that. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful, ma'am. Noah Reason says Pendle daily, please. Sure. PENDLE. Yeah, okay. I remember this one was popular maybe like a couple years ago. Let's see how it's done now. Actually, surprisingly, not so bad compared to most shitcoins we've seen today. It's an infinitely better chart. But is it strong enough to do its own thing on its own? Probably not. But then again, I mean, I go to the monthly, and this is objectively better than 95% of shit we've seen today. I think there's maybe only one better chart. But will it be immune from the general market movements? Unlikely. But yeah, monthly, if it can finish above 288, which it's well above right now, I mean, that shouldn't be an issue at all. It's like more than a 50% drop off, or around a 50% drop off. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You're looking at a daily. If I had to call it daily, I do think it is going to try some downside here towards like 460-ish region. I'd really want to see a big bounce at around 460 and then a reversal there back above whatever this high is at 575. If it can do that, that would confirm bullishness for me. But I do think next move is likely to the downside. For this thing. Yeah. Sir, I think I'm going to need you to refill my agua. But if you don't want to be on the video, I will have to turn off the video for a moment. Is that what you want?
Can you just use mine?
No, I don't want to drink out of your... Look, this is what Elsa told me to do. I ask her for water and she tells me, can you just drink out of mine? I'm not going to drink out of the shit. No way. Fuck you. I'm not doing that.
Why not?
Because I'm a man. I'm 40. All right, I'll turn off the video. Can you fill it? Un momento, sirs and sirs. Nova Sparks 453 says the bare moon is going to hurt my bunghole.
You want ice?
No ice, please. No ice. The bare moon is going to hurt my bunghole. Yes. Yes, unfortunately, there's been many cases of these. In fact, I've seen And even there's been plenty of recordings. Oh my god.
Bunghole. My bunghole is bleeding.
There might be some of that action going on. I don't know.
You're sick. Take it.
I'm sick? I'm not sick. I'm just thirsty. You're sick. You're sick. That's what Elsa always says. You're sick. All right. I've received the agua. Now we are ready to roll once again. Nicholas Carolyn is back. He says Ave weekly in 3 days. Sure, ma'am. Can't promise you have too many good things to say about it, but let's see. Maybe I do. I don't know. Actually, honestly, not. It's certainly not nearly as bad as what I was expecting. In fact, this one even has a macro higher low, so there's that. Just really trades north to south fucking quickly. But yeah. Anyways, 3 day time frame. Okay. I mean, I do think it's got a little bit more of a correction here. We can see that it has been putting in the last few lows around the green 55 EMA on the 3 day time frame, which is about 258, 259. So I do think you get a stab down around there. But I'd treat it as okay, actually, as long as you're above, again, this high, or sorry, this low, which is 250, or sorry, 245 on a closing basis. What does the daily look like? Yeah, I do think you will try somewhere down around there, but just don't want to see closures below there. That's where I think this one starts to kind of confirm another reversal. And there is some concerning signs here, I should say. The weekly time frame is turning down here. This one shows downside as long as you're below 331. So I don't think it's going to like shoot on to the upside and continue on with this uptrend from here. I think you're more likely to come down, honestly, and spend some time going sideways and down. Yeah, just put it bluntly, I think short term, you come down to like 264, 265, try for a short-term bounce there. If the bounce does bring you back above that early August high, I guess I'd be bullish. I just don't think that that's going to happen, man. I think it's more likely to find its way down to the low 200s, like 220-ish, 225. I don't know, somewhere around there. Come back to it after that. But yeah, long term, it does have an objectively better chart than most things. And even the monthly is going to see monthly momentum switch to the upside if this thing finishes August above 173. So it's got a big buffer zone there. What I can tell you, oh my God. Yeah, the problem is the low of this month already is 245. And if I think it might go lower than that, then that would be reversal. And that would indicate that this thing's going to come down below $200, but shit. Yeah. Big focus on this monthly's low. If it trades below this month's low, I think that this thing has potentially some real long-term problems, and you might be seeing like 150, 160-ish region long-term. But that, again, that can take a long time to play out. All invalidated just by getting back above last week's high. So we'll see, man. But I do have to say I would be biased towards the downside here. Yeah. What about a quarterly? Yeah, these higher term time frames are really not that bad. So I do want to hold off on like super aggressive statements, because I think that a lot of the market is getting a bit ahead of ourselves right now. Like, this is not bad on the quarterly. Gibson JK, so it sounds like everything is going down. It's a crazy idea, but actually almost everything in this market moves together in varying degrees of strength and weakness, sir. So basically, whatever direction Bitcoin is going, you can more or less assume 99.9% of the market is also going as well. In the crypto space, obviously in traditional markets, maybe a little bit different. But yeah, you know, at the same time though, like I said, I think Bitcoin's very close to a bounce here. Maybe it tries a little bit lower first and then tries for a bounce, but I do think it's a lot less like that. Bitcoin's going to just completely shut the bed here and go like straight down to fucking $100,000. I'm wrong about these statements all the time. That's just a personal intuition and opinion. You know, I don't trade that shit. Non-Simpatico says, reached August low, also NASDAQ down, good entry. I mean, if you're looking for maybe like a scalp, you know, long play, you can buy the first stab down, but you don't want to buy the second or the third one, man. Those are the ones that are most likely to fail, man. I have to say, like, I'd be careful with that, dude. In fact, let me just check something over here. Oh, my bunghole is bleeding. Like, how does that even happen? Oh, God. All right, let's see. Let's try something like that. Need to do some of my stonks. Non-Simpatico says, crude oil, hour and daily, people calling it bull flag. What? Okay, you're looking at symbol H. This medium gilt future. Okay, this is something new for me, man. I really do not like looking at oil Is this what you want? Because you said $H, so that's what I'm assuming. But if you mean crude oil, then maybe you mean like crude light, something like this. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. Is this a bull flag? Fuck no. What kind of fucking bull flag is so flaccid like this? It's coming all the way back down to the last macro low. But here's the thing with oil, it doesn't really trade that technically in my experience. So I just don't trust TA that much on it, but trends do seem to matter. If anything, I'd have to think it's coming back down to 55.5. But you know, I'm not quite sure if that's even the symbol you're looking at. Because you're saying crude oil, but then you're saying $H. Creighton C says, I'm down for Vegas. Anyway, it's Florida. Elsa needs a new scrunchie. A scrunchie? What? Enjoy doing TA on train bikes. It's like watching Les Grossman talk about movies being over budget. I mean, yeah, man, most of these fucking shitcoins are over budget. You know, they are like, people are way too trusting of these fucking white papers, which are more or less just marketing papers to begin with. Like, most of the stuff does not need to be on a blockchain. Most of the stuff, like if you knew the actual team behind it and you actually like had insight into, you know, what their business looked like, you would think it's just a fucking bucket shop, man. Like you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not putting my money in this. Like, this is just like 5 guys in a fucking trailer park. Like they're not trying to even do this shit. They're just taking my money. I mean, that is a lot of this stuff, to be honest, man. But yes, okay. BK, and have a good day as well. Yourself too. Yourself, dude. BK says Uranus 4-hour daily. Am I being trolled here or not? I am not being trolled, actually. And funnily enough, it's actually certainly not the worst chart we've seen today as well. In fact, in the better category, surprisingly enough, daily time frame, it actually holds an uptrend as long as you're above 37 cents. So there's that. 4-hour time frame, I'm really split on this one because it's so new. I do think you probably pull back a little bit closer to 40 cents, but I'd be looking for a bounce there. This thing is not bearish as long as you're above that August low of like 37, 38 cents on a daily closing base. Now, the second you close below there, yeah, this thing is fucking fucked. It's fucking fucked. It makes a lot of sense, Crown. Great grammar. But yeah, at that point, I think this thing's going to see a catastrophic collapse. But until then, actually one of the better ones, probably due to the fact that it just doesn't have as much history, but fair enough. Hureg says BNB on the 4-hour daily and 5 days. Sure, man. This one long-term among some actually the better charts. Let's see how it is in the shorter term. And I'm gonna take a sip of this water as well. All right. Start off high, then we go low. Okay, so this one did make new all-time highs last week. Good. It is coming back down to reconnect with the red 5 EMA. Short-term downside, that would be around 810, let's say, 805 to 810 region. Weekly momentum is about to freshly turn down if this thing finishes the week out below 858. So there is a real threat of a real correction here. Daily time frame, I would say that this turns into a real long-term correction if you do come back down below about $800, and there is good reason to believe that it will. All momentum oscillators are turning down in higher term time frames. We got bearish divergence on every time frame above a daily as well. Yeah, man. 4-hour time frame. I don't know. It might try for a bounce relatively soon, or maybe closer to like 814 region. I don't know, but I wouldn't be focused on that, to be honest. I'd be using the 4-hour price action pivot though. This is a good bias buster. As long as it's below 852, this high right here, I would be expecting sideways and down. And the second that you actually reclaim that level, okay, yeah, this thing's gonna be bullish. But until then, I would be respecting of what's going on in the greater market here. But again, you know, like I said, I do think Bitcoin is a lot closer here to a bounce than it is not. I do want to just express that I would not, personally, I do not want to, while I do think Bitcoin has downside chances for later, I think it's more likely to bounce here first and then drag it out. The market's already had a fucking, $15,000 move from high to low almost, like without any real bounce in between. When it bounces, it's probably gonna be a pretty big bounce, to be honest. Robbie says INSP, another Tau ecosystem shitcoin. No, don't say that, man. It might be great. Sorry. Again, this is nothing personal, man. Absolutely nothing personal. An amazing chart. An amazing chart. Oh, an amazing chart. I can just imagine all of the investors looking at this chart and saying something along the lines of,
Oh, fuck! My bunghole! My bunghole is hurting!
a lot of hurting bungholes on this one. This one goes straight fucking down. Since March of 2024, it's been in a full bull market and doesn't even go to the upside. Amazing. It's getting rejected right at the daily 377 EMA. Amazing. I'm surprised it even got that high. What do you know? Another weekly rejection right around the green moving average with momentum about to turn down if it finishes the week out below 3 cents. Or kind of where it's at right now. Yeah, look, I'd be very bearish on this thing as long as you're below last week's high. If it can get back above last week's high, okay, Crown is wrong. Fucking kill Crown, tar and feather him, put him on fire as well, and send this thing up to like, I don't know, 7 cents. But that's not what I'd be betting on personally. And you also have hidden bearish divergence between this point and this point. So also this, sir. And then Drone Shield. Oh, it's a stonk. Okay. All right. Drone Shield. I like the name. I like the name a lot. I like defense technology, but it's an Australian shitcoin, so that's a big strike. But very good chart. Sir, this chart makes up for every fucking shitty chart that you already listed. I do think this one's going to go down a lot, but long term, I do like it. This thing might come all the way down to like $2.50, man. This is a major high right here. I do think it's coming down into the like $2.70 to $2.50 region, and then hopefully it puts in a low there. But yeah, I think that this one's topped for now. Like you have a nice big reversal here on extreme volatility with momentum turning down. Yeah, man. Long term, I actually think that this is good. Like very good long term. I just think you're coming down here after a parabolic blow off top, and it's going to take a long time for it to get going again as well. Arms Private says Ethereum USD short and long term. Sure. Okay, I should really be using the RSI charts. Let's go to the RSI charts here. Nope, that's the witches chart. We don't want that. We want, yes. And you're looking at Ethereum. Where is my Ethereum herpy derp? Yeah, 4150. And again, you know, very similar play to what was it? Yeah, it was Link, where, you know, you test a major high. In this case, it was the prior all-time high, so that's always going to be significant. And you're just very likely to pull back from that number. And that's exactly what's happening here. And I think it's going to pull back more. Like you've probably hit a high for a long time. It's going to go sideways and down, and hopefully for the bull's sake, it'll put in a higher low. The problem is your last low was at 3350, so this has a humongous range. I don't know. Let's see what the fibs say about this one. You have an area of interest kind of where you're at right now at 4078, and then below there you got 3900. So kind of weird, actually. Okay, that does not... Yes, okay, no, that does look right to me. Let's take it for the whole run, though. Yeah, maybe significantly lower as well. But anyways, my point here is I think that you've hit a major high here. I'm not necessarily long-term bearish on this, but I do think you're going to be going sideways and down for a while. Like this was an unabated run to the upside since April of significant proportions. You know, 245% move. Like that's how Ethereum does shit, man. I think it's going to spend some time shaking itself out. It's going to probably come back down below 4,000 if I had to guess. Yeah, this looks like a top for a while. I'm not saying it's reversing into a macro downtrend. I just think it's, you know, it's going to come down, set in a higher low, hopefully above like 3,500. If they can do that, that's good. But I think it's going to take its time. If you're on a 4-hour time frame, similar to Bitcoin, I think you're in a bouncy zone here. Maybe it stabs a little bit closer to 4,000 first and then bounces. Maybe it just bounced from here. I don't fucking know. I don't have strong opinions on this. My strong opinion is on this. As long as you're below this high, I would be bearish on it. Just expecting the correction to continue. That's 4669. So yeah. All right. What's the symbol? Couple up. No, because there was no for Tamara Bakery. There was no symbol. Oh, okay, I see. No, you said MEXC. That's an exchange. I need a fucking ticker.
That's all he said.
Oh, so he literally just sent MEXC. Hey, Mr. Tamer, send the send the actual symbol of the ticker you want to look at, not the exchange. I mean, I'll look at MEXC. I don't think it's anything. Yeah, it's there is no MEXC coin. So I'm guessing you meant like exchange, but please like give the actual ticker, sir. Or no, it's TRWA. Okay, I see. Yeah, and by the way, I think the issue that people have with like fucking around with their super chats and shit is it's like VPN related, I think, because I know it's super annoying, like for both you and us. It's like, hey, why can't I get my shit in there? It's probably VPN related, something like that. Actually, not a bad chart here, man. At least it has higher highs and higher lows. It hasn't been around for long. This is a 4-hour time frame, so it's really not going off of much. So I really want to be super, super clear in stating that, because I would not feel confident in this for the long term. But you know, in the short term, do I think it comes back down to like 9.5 cents, somewhere around here, and then bounces? Probably yes. I would only be super bearish on this thing if it comes back down and close below this low. I generally think you're going to come down here and then bounce. And if it can pop back above this high, then that would make me very bullish. But until then, you know, always have to be careful with stuff that is like this new. At least it has an uptrend though. I mean, most things can't even say that. But really want to see like a big healthy bounce kind of from where it's at, or a little bit lower. And definitely not below here. This price action pivot would be disastrous if it loses that. Let's see. Okay. LP Philosopher says, hope all is good, sir. Hope all is good with you as well, sir. If you assume total 2 is a macro consolidation, let's just let's verify this. Total 2. Okay. So this is the market cap excluding Bitcoin and dollar derivatives. Okay. What is the better way of drawing a price target on log or linear scale? Generally linear. But it also depends, like generally linear is going to be better. That's going to be the more likely one to actually get hit. Log scale can make sense if you're like, you know, doing analysis that spans from like the beginning here to like 10 years ago, because obviously this is just not going to make sense with the linear scale. But I'm guessing you're talking about like a macro consolidation in here. I would just use linear, man. I would just use linear. But yeah, you know, this thing hit a new high, or sorry, it hit the prior high. This is like the exact same chart as Link almost. Hit the prior high, and Ethereum. Hit the prior high. It's going to pull back from there. I think it's going to take some time. You know, this is a reversal in my opinion, and I think it's going to reverse a decent amount. You got bearish divergence on the weekly RSI as well. I think you're probably going to come down to like 1.33 trillion. Like alts are going to get fucking bukkakied again. It's going to be a boo cake sandwich, man. It's bad. It's very bad. Very, very bad in my opinion. Nice. Chris Vela says, Tau, please. Sure. So this was the underlying shitcoin from the Tau ecosystem coins that we've been looking at earlier, and looks equally as bad. Weekly, hidden bearish divergence on the last local high, rejection right at the 55 EMA, coming back down. To me, this looks like it wants to come back down well below $300, probably closer to this low at 295 or 290. I think it'll probably try for a bounce there, but I don't think that bounce is going to reverse it, man. I think this is continuation. This is a long-term downtrend sitting in motion. This is bad. Like, these are bad charts. And it's just my opinion, but I mean, for fuck's sake, like, if it gets rejected at like the exact area we expect trends to kind of continue, alongside hidden bearish divergence on low volatility, I mean, this is a setup for down, not for up. The probabilities massively favor the downside here, not the upside. If you can pop back above basically your July high, okay, I'd be bullish there. Like, Crown's wrong, kill Crown at that point. Maybe it goes up to like 600 at that point, but I think that that's significantly less likely. It's Asti says, Tesla coming down. Last we looked at Tesla, it was kind of like in a consolidation, but long term I still like it. Let's see what it looks like now. Yeah, so it is going to fail this area right here, it looks like, because it is trading below that low. It's got regular bearish divergence as well. So I am going to be wrong in the short, or I mean, the short term was a consolidation call, so that still is more or less fine. But let's see, is this changing the monthly look now? Okay, here's what I can say about the long term, Asti, is that I would absolutely love to see this thing close above 315 by end of month. It is above there right now, in order to keep the Boo Law hopes alive. And if it could close even above 338, then incredible, you know, coming into September. But it's going to be a long 9.5 days left to go. Because if it closed below there, then I could easily see a correction back down to 250. So you're in the middle of a range. Oh, wow. Okay, I should have checked the daily. Yeah, down. Yeah, I think you're coming down here. Yeah, should have just started off right there. I mean, I guess, your 5-day and weekly bearish divergence hasn't been confirmed just yet, but I'm looking for like good points about this one. It'd really need to reverse like from right here, basically. I think you're more likely to come back down to this low at $300, try for a bounce there, and at that point, that's going to bleed into the monthly, which would make me biased towards a return back down to mid 200s. But I guess we'll see. Like, still kind of a difficult one right here. If it is going to reverse, it's kind of about the area 315, and that monthly closure also very important. But I don't think we even need to wait until that, because it's probably going to choose a direction before then, I would imagine. Let's see. Gallows back says, "Sir, when cycle over? When to short it all?" I really don't know, man. I really don't know. And honestly, I don't care. I just like to take things one step at a time. And I don't think you're going to get cycles again like you've gotten in the past. I think that it's going to be just these long sideways consolidations, kind of in these relatively, for Bitcoin, tight ranges, and then stair stepping up while altcoins get absolutely fucking boo caked on as usual. I mean, that just seems to be the most likely scenario. Again, I think Bitcoin, I mean, if it really wanted to, I guess it could come back down to like 95. It's the 55 on the weekly here. Like, people would be calling bear market if that happened. It's a 25% correction, but for Bitcoin, I mean, that's just a routine correction. I don't know. I wouldn't hate it, honestly. We'll have to see. I really don't know. I guess I really only I like to call cycles over when I see a monthly downtrend, and we're obviously very far away from having a monthly downtrend as of right now. Now, there are a lot of signals that do suggest we're going to enter into a long-term sideways and downside correction, though. So there is that. Yeah. So I don't know. Again, I do think in the short term, like, give Bitcoin a chance to bounce here. We've been looking for this correction for a long time. It's happened now. I don't want to get ahead of myself with this. Like, I feel like the rest of the market is now starting to catch up to to what we've been saying for a while, which is like, look, this thing is not this is not ready to like make new highs anytime soon. This is a corrected period. And if it can drag it out sideways for a few months, that should be bullish in my opinion. But it's going to naturally take some time. Things are going to get more boring. What is a boo cake? Liab. So go on to google.com and type in boo cake porno, and you'll figure it out quite quickly. Wicked Stocks on YouTube does great daily. Fair enough. I'm done with shitcoins. Now I trade junior minor stocks. I guess it's one step better. This shit is going to be like the next S&P 500. You mean Bitcoin? I mean, just in general, Bitcoin trades like an ETF now. I feel like that's what we've seen ever since the ETF came out over here in January of 2024. I mean, S&P is kind of like a more broad example, I guess, but basically like a technology ETF, something like that, like triple Qs. That's kind of my opinion on that. But again, like, if I'm wrong on that, I'm gonna be fucking massively wrong on it. Like, are the cycles gonna play out in the way that they have before? I think they're not going to, because it hasn't been working that way this current cycle. But I'm not marrying that belief right now. All I know right now is I'm ready for a prolonged sideways and downside period, and that's fine. It's a Japanese nutritional video, says Kale. That's exactly right. It is it's a great insight into why the Japanese live so long. They're very happy people. Bitcoin at a centralized trading desk, kind of. I mean, kind of in a way. Hey, have you and Elsa made it to a launch yet at KSC? I don't know what that is, man. Oh, do you mean the Kennedy Space Center? No, we haven't, man. Where even is it's Cape Canaveral? Is that right? I don't know. What's up, Shipwreck? Good to see you, man. Yeah, something like triple Qs, which I have on my list, or I should have it on this list. If not, it's going to definitely be on the other one. But yeah, there it is. Whoops. 560. Yeah. So like, if you look at this thing long term, I mean, long term it just goes up, but it has these corrected periods where it goes sideways for a few months and just continues up. Shit like this. It's kind of what I think is going to happen for Bitcoin. But yeah, just like Bitcoin, I think triple Qs has hit a major high right here. It's going to probably come down a decent amount. Still higher lows for a while, but I mean, shit, man. I'm not saying it's going to do this. I'm not saying it's going to do this, but just for reference, like it could come all the way down to $500, and I don't think that that's like super problematic long term. So yeah. Have you been to Crystal River, Florida yet? No. It sounds like a place that you could go kayaking at, which I'd like to do. I really want to do those kayaks in the wilderness. Those look so cool, man. Creighton says, I'm looking for the low in October, then grind up. I think that that's definitely possible if Bitcoin just holds this range. And when I say hold this range, I mean, look, it could go down to like low 100s, you know, something like that, but just not like a true breakdown. And if it kind of holds that from now until like end of October, yeah, I could easily see something like that. You know, that would be what, a 3-4 month long consolidation. That's par for the course now on Bitcoin. So yeah. Let's see. Just tried yesterday Bitcoin Lightning. It was fast and amazing. Anything else other than Bitcoin is shit? Now I'm a new Bitcoin maxi. Fair enough. Fair enough. Arms Private says, can Link make a new high from here? It looks like it. I mean, there's always the possibility of it. Is it a high probability? Is a real question. Like a new high compared to the December 2024 highs. I mean, I guess it's just, if I think the rest of the market's probably going to correct, I would have to say unlikely, but I would say it's more likely to just retest that high at 30 or $31. I don't think it's going to like trend to new highs from here. Well, then again, I look at the monthly I really, really like. So it's like short-term correction, medium-term correction, whatever. Is it going to make new highs? Yes. I just think it's going to, I think it's just going to consolidate for a while first, man. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. But if I'm looking at the monthly, like, I don't know, before end of year, I could easily see it making a new high on this rally. Yeah. Let's see. Titusville and Cocoa Beach. I dream of Genie. Just the roar that goes through your body of the launch is amazing. I'm sure all of the gas particles that you're inhaling as well feels great. But I don't know. Probably it's safe. Who knows? Who knows? I trust. But it actually does look pretty cool. I would like to see one. Yes and yes. Vadhid Gabble says, hey, kind sir, could you please shed light on cores 4 hour daily? I can't. I can look at it, man. I don't know if I have anything nice to say about it. Is it this thing? No, I'm guessing it's a stock. Must be a stock. Core Scientific. Probably better that it's a stock. And yeah, better chart than most things we've seen today. Nice sideways consolidation. I do think a little bit of downside here, maybe back down to 1275, but give it a chance to go sideways. I think it's done kind of moving to the upside for a while. Go sideways for a while and find that next higher low. Looking for something obvious here. I guess the obvious thing is on the weekly. Yeah. Probably comes back down to like, I don't know, low 12s. But that's still a range right there. It's not problematic until it actually breaks below 12 and a half on a weekly. Are you a NASCAR fan? Not really, man. Not really, to be honest. I really don't care about cars in general. Like Formula One, I think is like, I don't understand why people are fucking obsessed with Formula One. Why? Fucking why? Sorry if if I'm being offensive. Like I'm not trying to be. I just don't understand it. I guess. I understand that there is like skill in these things. Like people who drive like even go-karts and shit like that. I know that there's like a tremendous skill in it. I just don't care that much. And I'm sure people don't care about stuff that I think is cool as well. That's fine. We can agree to disagree. But yeah, I don't know. It's probably like a fun experience to go to a race, something like that. But it's like I'm not gonna fucking reorganize my life because of a NASCAR race or Formula One or any of these things, man. Vert AI. Okay. Wow, it's one of these. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing. Actually, not terrible compared to most things we've seen today. That's for sure. Short term, though, has it hit a high here? Yes. I think it does come down a little bit towards 27.25. Probably tries for a bounce there. Come back to it after that. I would only be looking for a continuation if it can trade back above your Sunday high, which is basically the high. So that's not really helpful. I totally get that. But I think you're, consolidating here for a while. MotoGP. It's all the same shit to me. Anything involving a motor and a vehicle, it's all the same shit to me, man. But what about a wave runner? But sir, what about the scooter races? Okay. What about the downhill sled races? Amazing. Yeah, man. No, I look like it's. I respect athleticism. I respect highly skilled things, but it's not like I'm gonna fucking stop my day to go watch these things. I don't care. Yeah. For me, alts need QE and easy money. Then I might throw 1% trades on an alt, but I would rather have cheap NVIDIA or Palantir. Yeah, 100%. 100%, man. Really the reason why people get obsessed with alts is because they typically get into the crypto scene during the very end of a market cycle. And during the very end of a market cycle, alts are going crazy and they see some alt going up like 50% or 100% or 200%, within a week. And then they think, oh shit, that's normal. That's what these things do. Not realizing that 99% of the time, these things are just going sideways and down. So yeah, man, 100%. I agree with you. I would much rather take, those stock market bets than I would ever take an altcoin bet. I mean, for fuck's sake. Have you heard about slow cycling? I'm sure it's also something that I'd be massively interested in. No, I haven't, man. I haven't. Is it like slow walking competitions? Now that I can get behind, because those exist and they're great. Not a fan of the streaming. Prefer the old crown videos. Then fuck off, sir. Like, if you haven't noticed, we do live streams Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you just want the Bitcoin analysis, then fucking watch the Tuesday and Thursday videos, or wait until these live streams are done, and then we'll have very, very nice, very, 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 very accurate timestamps for you that you can just watch the Bitcoin analysis. And then you don't need to complain. It's amazing. You want to look at some Cardano. Well, I'd love to look at some Cardano and shit all over this thing, but let's see. Maybe it looks amazing. Maybe it looks amazing. Honestly, it does have a better chart than most. There is that. It does have a better chart than most. It's kind of similar to Link here. Shit, I think it's even going to try to bounce from here. This even could be another higher low. So out of all the things we've seen today, this and a few other ones I don't really hate. Yeah. I mean, you have a monthly reversal here. You have low, you have high, you have higher low, you have higher high. Is this the next higher low? It looks like it. So as long as you're above there, it should be treating it as a higher low. The weekly, yeah, it's pulled back a bit, but oops, let's go down to a daily. Maybe the daily pulls back a little bit more. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. If it does, I'd be looking towards 78, 79 cents. But I would actually treat this one as okay as long as you're above this low here, which is 76.5 cents. Below 76.5 cents, then we can go ahead and resume shitting on something like Cardano. But until then, it's actually in a better position than most things. Yeah, quarterly significantly better than almost everything else we've seen. 86.5 cents just finishes the month above that number, not the month, but the quarterly above that number. So that's end of September. And I would feel comfortable saying this thing's going to explode actually well above $1. So yeah. Pussy or balls, sir? Pussy or balls? In which month we top out for Bitcoin, you think? Again, I don't fucking know. I don't have a crystal ball. There's no way for me to know these things. I don't think that Bitcoin has hit the cycle high yet. I also don't think it's going to be making new highs anytime soon. I think we are in a period of sideways consolidation, and it may take some time. And when I find a crystal ball that has the answer for such questions, I will let you know. Until then, I have an unfortunate reality to tell you something. Nobody fucking knows. Nobody fucking knows. You know why? Because the only way to confirm a cycle high is when the cycle high actually happens. I can identify when a cycle high happens or a cycle low happens. That can feel very, very confident with, but I cannot predict beforehand with a high degree of accuracy. I can try, but it's usually not going to have a high probability. Love the live streams. Fuck yeah, man. That's the kind of people that we love. Gallo, Jack, Trance. Amazing. Amazing. We are a little bit gay for TA. That's right. I understand. Look, it's not for everyone, but if it's not for you, just watch the fucking regular videos on Tuesday, Thursday. Don't complain. Okay, complaining's annoying and silly and lobotomized. And you can also use the timestamps as well for these videos. Like, it's all good. Trike and Wave Runner. Wave Runner would be cool, honestly. BGB. Is this BitGets shitcoin? Yeah, it is. Okay, I'm actually curious to see what this one looks like. Wow. Actually really good. These exchange tokens are pretty good bets, I guess. I mean, this one and BNB token, both pretty good. What if there's any bad ones? I don't really know the other ones, man. All good, Jeff. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, not bad here though. I mean, I would generally be bullish on this thing as long as you're above what 370. I think you're consolidating for a while here, but this, I mean, this is a bullish reset at first glance, as long as you're above the green moving average. And we've seen these things many times before as well. So yeah, not bad. It's very similar to BNB token, I think. So Mr. Pow Pow, we love it, sir. We love it indeed. Bitcoin is my dad and he beats me. He beats many people. He also sexually harasses them. So that's just your dad showing that he cares. Elsa thinks it's funny, but it's not funny. I mean, there's many dads who care out there. LCX exchange token. Never heard of this exchange ever. So this should be good. And again, an exchange token that actually is not bad. Like, this is not, compared to most shitcoins we've seen today, this is infinitely better, especially going back to 2019. Yeah, I have to hand it. I've never heard of LCX exchange though. CRO is a bad exchange token. I don't think CRO is an exchange, is it? I thought it was like a credit card thing. Am I thinking of something else? Maybe I am. Yeah, definitely not as good. Another rejection at the weekly 200 simple, but this thing might actually be reversing long term, just short term downside, and maybe it finds another higher low. It's a special kind of love. Now point at the doll where daddy touched you. That's right. Daddy just, look, it's really just dad telling you that, hey, you're attractive, son. I love you. Terrible things. Look, I'm just joking, okay? I don't actually believe that. That's very terrible. If your daddy touched you like that, go to the police for real. Like, they're not supposed to do that. Also, if you're a woman, and anything in between as well, like, it's not supposed to happen. Just so you know. Wanted to super chat RTX on the weekly monthly, but it's not working. Okay, ma'am. RTX, you mean Raytheon? Full disclosure, I do own some of this. Interestingly enough, while most of the big defense stocks are pulling back, this one is not, or not really, like, in a significant way. I mean, look, if it does want to pull back more, 150 is the obvious number on the daily. That'll also be a reconnect with the monthly 5 EMA. Generally long-term bullish, man. If it corrects between like 135 to 150, I look at that as fine. But to give this one its due, like, most of the other things are correcting pretty heftily already, and this one is not. So that is relative strength. That is good. That's a really good sign. It's just, do I think it's going to like blast new all-time highs from here? I'm inclined to say no, but your most recent price action pivot is here, 156 and a quarter. So if you can close above there, I guess, it's going to retest these highs. Maybe it does make new highs. I mean, pretty fucking strong, but that's why I use the indicators. I can't trust myself. It needs to be algorithmically defined here. So I guess that's where I put it. Love to smoke a J with Crown. I don't like actually smoking. Edibles are good. Edibles are good. I like to take Mike Israel's advice on edibles. It's like, take an amount that sends you so deep into outer space that you don't come back until tomorrow. That's the way to do it. Did you see Rolls-Royce stock did a 10x? What is their ticker? I forget. No, I haven't seen that actually. Are we back in Singapore? What's up, Balroy? Good to see you, ma'am. No, I'm not going to go to Singapore this year. I'm not going to be leaving for a while, honestly. It's a really long flight from here, man. And I don't know. I really liked Singapore. It's a beautiful place, but I don't really have I don't really want to go back right now. I'm pretty busy setting up my own shit here, stateside right now. So I'm not gonna participate in that one. But hopefully they do another event in Miami, which I would definitely be in for. And that's, from what I understand, is gonna be the end of the year. But you know how these things go, Elroy, is that they always fucking, they pop up and then they fall through, and then it's always a mess, I feel like. So I try not to get like too invested in it, but I'm still training, man. Hopefully you are as well, man. Dude, you looked good out there for like someone who hadn't trained, super long time, man. You were going at it with a guy he's very well trained. Like, he was very, very good. Like, he destroys almost everyone, man. He's really, really good. And you stuck in there with him, man. That's not an easy thing to do. Like, it's not an easy thing to do at all. So tremendous respect for that. But yeah, no Singapore this year. Edibles on long flights. Actually, no, I don't like that. I get too scared. I I have a really big fear of planes, honestly, at this point. Like every time I get on a plane, I, for some reason, think it's going to crash. I really don't like it. Like, I really don't like it. And those don't help. They really don't help, man. Lockheed Martin, sure. Again, full disclosure, I do own this one. Let's see how it's doing. To be honest, I don't hate this area long-term on the monthly. I mean, this is kind of where you expect this thing to reaccumulate if it is going to resume with its long-term strength. Maybe it comes a little bit lower, closer to, let's say, like 390. All of this is fine, in my opinion. If it loses these levels, I think you got a pretty deep correction down to like 330-ish region. But that, I would love to buy more down around 330 if it got there. For right now, I think you've hit a high for a long time. I think this one's, again, going sideways in a range with some downside in between for a while. And short term probably tries a little bit of more on this bounce here. I think it could easily get back into like 450, 460. Doesn't mean anything. I just don't think it's making new all-time highs anytime soon. I think you're in sideways period. You know, for reference, this thing's just been straight up for a long time, man. But yeah, give it a chance to bounce here. Give it a chance to go sideways. If you can drag this out for like another, 4 to 6 months, then I'd say that this is going to be your next base. But that's naturally going to take time, man. This is a long-term thing. Rolls-Royce for London Stock Exchange is RR. Okay. Let's see. Yes, here we go. Wow. Holy shit, fuck. I wonder what why that is. You can see on the monthly there was a higher low right here, and then it flipped the prior lower high right here. So it's just been literal vertical since then. That's amazing. I don't know. Are they going to make warplanes for the UK again or something? Maybe. Did you know Rolls-Royce actually made the engines for the Spitfires in World War II? There's my nerdy fact for the day. But they did. They were really, really good. Some of the best warplanes in World War II. Yeah, I'm going to be keeping the time for a long time, Dealey. I might even move it. I might even make it like slightly later than what it is right now. We'll see. Imagine how bad the eventual pullback will be. Oh, of course, man. I mean, you did just have a pretty nasty pullback here in March, April. This thing pulled all the way back from 800 to 550. So that's a, 40% correction? 31% correction? It's pretty big. Yeah. They made the engines for the... Did they really? Rolls-Royce made the engines for the Mustang? Wow, that's like the most iconic, or among the most iconic planes of World War II. I mean, shit, man, there were so many iconic ones. Like, they're all pretty damn cool, honestly. Bullish engulfing forming on the 1 hour for XRP, still below the last high. I mean, if you're trading the lower term time frames, maybe. Let's see. I'm just reading comments right now. It's potential for a bullish engulfing. It needs to close above 289 and a quarter. But it could be there. I mean, look, like I said, most of these things are setting up for short-term bounces. It's just I'm not, I have to be kind of concerned that these bounces put in lower highs on the daily. You must be new here, Umar Raza. Any alts you recommend to invest in or hold? No. I mean, it depends. How much do you hate money? Do you love to just light money on fire? Buy them all, man. Doesn't matter when you buy them. Just fucking buy them. Look, man, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not here to tell you what to do. We all have just different dispositions. In my general opinion, most altcoins are absolute garbage that have no business being traded and generally have a long-term trend towards zero. Yes, they get major pumps here and there, which people get sucked into thinking that, oh my God, it's turning around for forever. It's going to be the next Bitcoin. It's going to go up 1,000x, 100,000x, whatever the fuck. It almost never happens. Very, very few and far between. Yes, there are some big runners, of course. Can I tell you what they are? I don't fucking know because I don't focus on that. And I can generally tell you that if you're playing the game of altcoin, shitcoin roulette, you will be a long-term loser. The P51 originally had engine issues, so they switched to the... Wow, that's so cool. I didn't know that, man. Damn. Because, man, that is so dope. Gallo says, tips on using meta signals, return curve, great over the years, but when is it time to increase the size of the trades or trade always the same amount? Okay, so if you make your trade size variable and you, let's say, size up on the winners, or sorry, size down on the winners, but size up on the losers, obviously that's going to be very, very bad. So I'd say don't. Don't do that. Keep it consistent, man. You have to think in terms of statistics. If you are playing a statistical setup that has an edge in your favor, that edge works out for you if you keep all the other variables constant. If you move them around, you inherently fuck around with that equation. Thus, you can no longer trust in those probabilities. So, yeah. You don't want no problems. Says when it comes to alts, Crown's analysis is trash. I've been bearish on alts for the last 3 years, and they've been all going down for the last 3 years. So, yeah, man. Thank you for your opinion. Great opinion, bro. Don't really care about your opinion, to be honest. Go buy your alts, man. Go buy your alts. Buy them all. 100x leverage, no stop loss. Just do it. Coin stock? Yeah, let's look at some coin stock. That's also the funny thing. Is like the altcoin holders are also just always so fucking rude. Like, does that just come with the territory? Like, you're retarded enough to buy an altcoin and then you are rude as well? Jesus Christ. Talk about double trouble. Coinbase, I think it's hit a high for a while, like most things in this market. Monthly is a reversal. I think it comes back down to like 250-ish region. Hopefully it puts in a higher low there. You know, again, similar example, you have a high, or sorry, this high hitting a prior macro high from November 2021, comes back down. It's not necessarily bearish. You know, your last higher low was all the way at 175. So there's a big range here. You come, like I said, down to like 245, 250, and that wouldn't look that crazy in the long term. And should be a big bounce there. Anyways, I think we're getting towards the end. Holy shit, we're 2 hours into this, man. Yeah, this has gone way, way past the expiration date. All right, guys. I think we've hit pretty much all of these anyways. I think it's a good place for me leaving it off as always. Look, what I said about altcoins, yes, some of them do bounce. Of course, there can be gains that are made, but people who hold altcoins long term, generally 99% of the time, you will be losing money versus Bitcoin long term, and also losing money versus the dollar as well. Anyways, that's my disposition. You're free to go ahead and buy all of the altcoins that you want. You can disagree with me as much as you want. It is completely fine. I don't mind. Go buy your alts. It's fine. It's good. Or, well, it's good for you, I guess. But we shall end things on that note. As always, I'd like to wish everyone the best, even the altcoin holders of the world. And we shall end now. Take care. Much love.